You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Hello and welcome to Cancelled. I'm Jessie Stephens.
I'm Clare Stephens.
And this is the podcast all about things, people or places that the culture has attempted to cancel. I don't think we've ever done a place. Can you think of a place?
We should do a place.
Well, I was prepping last night and I turned to my partner and I said, can you think of a place we ought to cancel? And he said, without skipping a beat, he said Belangolo State Forest.
Okay.
That's where Ivan Milat buried his victims.
Yeah.
Anyway, today's show is all about a woman Piers Morgan has been attempting to cancel during every waking hour of his life for at least 5 years.
It's his full-time job.
It's his full-time job. Her name is Meghan Markle.
What was hard to get over was being blamed for something that not only I didn't do, but that happened to me.
Meghan Markle is setting the record straight, telling Oprah the real story behind the infamous tabloid tale that she made her sister-in-law, Kate Middleton, cry in 2018.
The reverse happened.
Claire, when I Googled Meghan to get an overview of her controversies, there were articles with 300 dot points. There was one article when it was listing her biggest controversies, one of the dot points, the subheading was, she's biracial. And excuse you.
That ain't a controversy.
That ain't a controversy.
That's part of her identity. People love to hate Meghan Markle. It's a hobby for a lot of people.
For the level of hate waged at this woman, you would think she was legitimately Ivan Milat.
Mm-hmm.
But her crime is wearing slightly slutty nail polish one time 4 years ago. And by slutty, I mean almost identical to the colour I have on now.
Yeah.
Which is a dark colour.
Yeah.
Dark blue.
It's not royal.
I have had to split this episode into two. So this will be part one, which will focus on before she left the royal family.
Okay.
And then we're going to move on to part two, which is after they said, ciao Bellas, we're going to LA.
I like that
California.
arbitrary distinction.
Claire, before we begin to talk about all the reasons Meghan Markle has been cancelled by the culture, I know that you have a vested interest in Meghan. In fact, you must declare your biases. And you've met Meghan, correct?
We're very good friends.
Can you tell the court about what took place when you met Meghan?
It's October 2018, and for reasons I still can't articulate almost 4 years later, I became inexplicably obsessed with the royals.
Yeah, what was that about? Because you're not really a royalist, and then news hit that Meghan was coming to Australia.
And I lost it.
And next minute you're saying, Jessie, I don't know why I had to drive you, but you were like, drive me to Kirribilli.
Yeah.
Where she was staying.
At Admiralty House.
And we saw her minders on the street, and you were like, minders means Meghan's close.
I liked the fuss. I'm
Okay.
into the fuss.
You liked the fuss.
Yeah, I felt like my parents. I felt like
you
mum
liked
and dad.
the spectacle of it. You get swept up in
anything.
moments of joy, and when everyone else is interested in something.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm the person who there's a queue and I just jump in the queue.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
Like you definitely weren't an early adopter, but
No.
you're like, well, Meghan. And we were working at Mamamia at the time. And just for some clarity, Mamamia, we don't have things like court reporters.
Nope.
Right? We don't often send journos out on the scene. We aren't the first people at a car accident. We don't do that sort of journalism.
No.
But you somehow
Got permission.
got permission
to go to the Opera House on the morning of Tuesday, the something of October, and I got an Uber to the Opera House very early.
Did you get a work Uber?
Oh, I think it may have been a work Uber.
And you weren't writing
a
a story, you weren't doing any content, but you just went and staked out for an entire workday to meet Meghan. What occurred when you met her?
Well, I did wait several hours. I'd like that on the record.
And there were signs.
There were signs. People had signs that said sparkle like Markle. They
Okay.
had signs that said couple goals. And I thought, how embarrassing. I don't have a sign. Then someone handed me a sign. I took the sign. Then my sign got confiscated. And that sums
a
up
low point.
what it's like when there's a fuss. Nobody knows what you're allowed to do. Everybody around me was like talking. Obviously, I'm just absorbed in all the
you're a
passion.
journalist, yeah.
And people are discussing how lovely it was that Meghan waited to announce her pregnancy until after Princess Eugenie's wedding.
Oh, I remember that.
How proud Diana would be of Harry.
Oh.
That's a great narrative. And what they'll say to Meghan and Harry when they meet them. And it was a toss-up between congratulations and hi. So people just didn't know what to say.
And what happened when she came and greeted you?
So I was in prime position.
Yeah.
I waited hours and there I am.
Nice to meet you. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, thank you. It's very kind. So wonderful that you're here.
Congratulations. And my nails weren't painted fully. They were somewhat painted. But I shook both their hands and I said, congratulations to Meghan. And I looked them, they looked me in the eye and they were both beautiful. And the person next to me said, how are you feeling, Meghan? And she said, I'm quite well, thank you.
Did she seem good?
She seemed like she was enjoying it. She seemed happy. She seemed to understand what was happening. But now I feel a little bit silly.
Well, you came to the office afterwards with your shooken hand.
My dirty
and you
hand.
said, come on, touch it. Touch Meghan.
I charged everyone $1.
Yeah, to touch your hand.
I said, you can sniff it.
Yeah, to see what. I always say like the Duchess of Sussex. It smells like. But a few weeks ago, something happened in the media and I sent you on Slack a message and I said, I need you to know that Meghan has said some things about that day at the Opera House. And you said, I don't believe it to be true. And I said, a Palace insider said so. Basically what happened was that this Tina Brown has written a book about Meghan Markle and the royals more broadly. And she says that when Meghan was in Australia, she didn't understand why things were set up in that way. Instead of being excited when thousands of people showed up at the Opera House, Clare Stephens, it was very much like, what's the purpose? I don't understand this. She also said, what are they all doing here? It's silly.
I feel really silly.
And then Meghan Markle allegedly said that she hated every second of the pointless Australian tour.
I feel like she hated the second when she was shaking my hand and looking into my eye and I was saying congratulations.
Do you feel weird about it now? Has it changed how you feel?
Yeah, because that was like, in all seriousness, I was quite excited. And now I feel like it just didn't mean to her what it meant to me.
She hated meeting you.
She hates me.
Hated it.
I always thought it was quite special that Australia was part of the narrative, that they were here when they announced their pregnancy. And I thought, yeah, because Australia is a special place to you. And I'm special to you.
But turns out she went back into the Opera House
and went, fuck me. What's wrong with these people? And I was one of those people. No, it actually makes me feel embarrassed, okay? I'm actually embarrassed.
Okay, well, moving on to today's courtroom. So the structure of today's show is everything Meghan did wrong as a royal, including but not limited to the aforementioned slutty nail polish.
Okay.
Number 2, her family who can't stop leaking. This was a really difficult segment to get down to less than 4 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
They were leaking as I was writing.
Yeah, we got Thomas. We got Samantha.
We got another Thomas. Okay. Number 3, the fight with Kate Middleton.
Yeah.
And number 4, an incident with an avocado.
Just a quick, I guess, trigger warning. People get really upset about royal stuff. People get upset when you call her Kate Middleton instead of the Duchess of Cambridge. But let's be real, she's our friend Kate.
She's our friend Kate, Katie, Kathy. And Meghan is always Meghan Markle. She's not the Duchess of Sussex.
And people would get mad if we called her that.
And Harry's just Harry.
Yeah.
Yes, he has no last name. Well, actually, he does have a last name. It's Harry. His first name's Prince. Okay, so we've got Prince Harry, Meghan Markle,
so if you are
Kitty Cat.
a royal absolutist who needs all your titles correct and you're mad that we're not, showing adequate respect to the Queen, this isn't for you.
No, Her Majesty. Meghan Markle was born Rachel Meghan Markle.
I knew that.
Yeah, I knew you did, so I wasn't going to play a little game. And similar to Scott Morrison, she was a child star.
With that face.
With
You'd
that
think
face.
so.
Well, not really, but she was a little bit. Have you seen the viral footage of her up against Procter & Gamble?
No.
Okay, this went viral just at the beginning of her career. This is when you were really into Meghan, so I'm surprised that you didn't see it. But basically there was an ad by Procter & Gamble about a dishwashing liquid where they said women are fighting greasy pots and pans all over the world.
Okay.
And Meghan Markle, 11 years old, an activist as she's always been, said, oh, women aren't fighting it. We're all fighting grease.
Oh, that's why I like
And
her.
she wrote a handwritten letter. And the news clip said, look at her penmanship.
I
And
bet
it was
she-
quite,
I
she had
bet she-
beautiful penmanship.
Yeah.
And then she was on the news
Okay.
and she said, you know, why don't we say people of the world are fighting grease?
Mm.
And they changed it to people. And it was Meghan talking about how stereotypes are unhelpful.
I love that.
And Meghan, as a child, she also worked at a soup kitchen and she did volunteer work. God. You can see why everyone hates her so much.
Horrible. Entitled. Rude.
Meghan met Harry in the summer of 2016, which you would know. And they fell in love, blah, blah, blah. It's not why anyone's here.
No.
You can read that everywhere.
Yeah.
What we're really here for is the time the royal household allegedly called her nail polish vulgar.
Okay. I need the context on this.
It was dark maroon.
Ooh.
And she was wearing it, I believe this might have been actually when she was pregnant, and she was wearing a black dress. You can't be wearing a white nail with a black dress. You'd look ridiculous.
Oh, you've always got to be wearing the pale pink. That's what Kate does.
Okay, it is called SC's ballet slippers.
Yeah,
It's the Queen's
yeah,
favourite.
yeah.
$14.95 from Mecca.
Oh,
Quite affordable.
yeah.
But it doesn't go with everything, and Meghan didn't think so. So she wore her maroon, and leaks from the palace, it's vulgar. She's a slut. Who
said
say she's a slut?
who said
Oh,
it was-
the Queen?
I will say, if everything that our grandmothers thought about us was leaked to the press, oh gosh, the stories,
It
the
would be a lot like
headlines.
this.
Nan hated when I dyed my hair dark.
Oh,
She
vulgar
actually
would have been the word she used.
She was actually by that point. It's not funny. She was mostly blind. But she could still see some light, and she looked at me and said, "That's awful." And I said, "Come on now, you're blind." And she said, "It's horrible. It doesn't suit you."
Change it. And that's the Queen. Is she's just walking around judging.
Yeah.
Now, I came across a headline on Cosmopolitan that reads, 72 times Meghan Markle has broken royal protocol.
Oh,
this was
that's-
like 5 minutes into her meeting Harry.
That's a lot of times.
Here's an example of one of the dot points. For royal women, whenever they are sitting down, they are expected to sit with their legs and knees together while having their ankles crossed. Meghan has clearly not abided by those rules, which is fine.
Okay, it's not fine. You wrote a 72-point
It's
article
clearly
about it.
not. This is what I love about women's media
Yeah.
over the reign of Meghan Markle.
It's fine. I'm not judging it. I'm just giving it a lot of real estate on the
I'm just
homepage.
saying her nail polish is slutty. And that's fine if you want to be a slut. That's literally the tone of everything. It's fine that she chooses to disrespect the Queen, who is 312. Like, I wouldn't, but she should go for it. I don't know what accent that is.
No, it's not British.
I'm going to tell you some other things Meghan did, and you're going to tell me why they broke royal protocol, okay?
Okay.
She wore contour.
I think it's unnatural. And the Queen likes everybody to be natural in their inbredness. And she doesn't like when people do these modern things.
If the Queen was on TikTok, she'd be contouring the forehead.
Yeah.
She'd be contouring the jawline.
She would be applying her foundation with a condom.
She would.
And a
She
raw
would.
egg.
She'd
anyway.
be doing all of it. Apparently, contour is too dark for royal makeup.
Yeah, well, I see that the Queen would think that.
Meghan didn't have fruitcake at her wedding.
Well, that's tradition. And you...
How about the fact fruitcake's disgusting?
I-
No one eats it.
Look, I was going to say that because fruitcake at weddings upsets me more than anything. Unpopular opinion, I love like a chocolate wedding cake with that thick white icing. I love the thick white icing. People say it tastes like pure sugar, and I say I don't see the problem. That's
exactly.
why I love it
You
so
put it on the
much.
tongue, it dissolves.
Fruitcake.
Yeah.
If you're a cake, stop trying to be healthy. I feel the same way about carrot cake.
Yeah, me too.
Don't put vegetables in my cake.
Yes. She didn't do the photo shoot straight after birth on the steps of the Lindo wing.
Okay, well, the argument to that is Kate did it, why can't you do it? And all women who give birth have the same experience.
Yeah.
So why aren't we all doing the exact same thing in the days after birth? It's not like birth can go wrong. It's not like birth is stressful.
Yes.
It's birth is super calm. Just come out and have a photo op.
What if her uterus falls out?
Yeah.
What if she gets on the steps? Hi, I just gave birth. I'm lightheaded, given the blood I lost. There's blood running down my ankle.
Yes.
I have a nappy on. I feel puffy and tired.
This is my baby.
This is my baby.
I don't know it. It's a stranger.
It's
It's
a stranger.
quite alarming. It's actually scaring me.
I still have a catheter in.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can wee. The baby is covered in gunk. I haven't cleaned it. Basically, every minute Meghan was a royal, she was in trouble for doing shit wrong.
Can you imagine if we were royals?
Oh, Claire.
We would turn up and the Queen would go, all of it's wrong.
Yeah.
All of it. You're a mess. You are messy. You have come into my palace. You have disrespected my palace. That's what she'd say.
And then we'd be doing like a weird curtsy.
And she'd say, stop it.
Stop it. It's offensive.
You're upsetting my ancestors.
There would be a headline like Meghan breaks royal protocol for wearing hair in a messy bun. But then when you clicked on the article, it would say, well, it's not really protocol.
But she wore her hair in a messy bun and that deserves
And here
a
are 8
headline.
photos
Yeah.
that we found on Getty.
Yeah. And here's how to recreate it.
Yeah. Look, as I said, there were at least 72 things that she did wrong. There was PDA. There was a sheer dress. She didn't wear stockings sometimes.
Oh, the stockings really upset people.
The stockings were a thing.
She's shitting on royal traditions.
Exactly. So what I want to know is, as Nan, an Irish Catholic who loved a bit of royals, what about Meghan upset her so much during this period?
Okay, I have one sentence for you. Who does she think she is?
Okay.
You have come in here. There's this lovely queen who, in the words of Piers Morgan, has never done anything wrong.
And in the words of a book that's been written, apparently has a great sense of humour.
Which I don't believe.
I don't believe it for a minute. I've never heard her tell a joke.
But I will say, I guess they look at Meghan and they go, you don't look how I imagine a royal should look.
In that they have always been white.
And I'm going to project that racism onto all of your actions.
And make it about contour?
Yeah.
And not what you describe as your mixed race.
Because I don't like it.
No. We are so against mixed race that, as aforementioned, we are into inbreeding.
Yes.
Moving on to a more serious matter, and that is her dysfunctional family. There's Thomas Markle Sr., that's her father.
Great man.
Then her half-sister, Samantha Grant, who, when Meghan Markle became famous, changed her name to Samantha Markle.
And who I love a cancelled crossover. She's been on Kyle and Jackie O a few times, but Kyle gets very upset and he yells at her and he says, go away, you fame chaser.
Same with Piers Morgan.
Not into it.
Yeah, called her a vulture. And then there's Thomas Markle Jr., best known for his brief and unsuccessful stint on Australia's Big Brother VIP.
My sister is Meghan Markle. Prince Harry is my brother-in-law. That's how I got famous. Meghan treats her family like she's embarrassed of where she comes from. She's very selfish, self-centered. I think she's very shallow.
I would like you to defend the family.
Okay. Oh, no.
This is just a fun fact to begin. Did you know that Thomas Markle Sr. won the lotto?
I'd like to say congratulations.
In 1990, the year we were born.
How much?
$750,000.
That's a lot he should have invested. Oh, he didn't make good decisions, did he?
He filed for bankruptcy in 2016. Caused a lot of problems.
Mate.
In December 2017, Thomas Markle said he'd love to walk Meghan, his daughter, down the aisle.
Oh, no.
The palace confirmed that Thomas would play a role in the wedding. Then, less than a week before the wedding, he drops out. There are rumours of it being because of some sort of heart issue, but then there is also evidence that he staged paparazzi pictures, in that he had paparazzi following him to a suit fitting, an outdoor workout, and my personal favourite. Claire, I have a picture of the I don't normally support the paparazzi economy, but given this was not the paparazzi economy, but instead a staged photo shoot, I would like you to tell me what you see in this image.
Okay. This is Thomas Markle sitting at a cafe reading a book called Images of Britain, a pictorial journey through history. I enjoy that it's pictures and not words, and I enjoy that he is looking very closely at the images of the country he plans to visit.
He has glasses on so he can see properly. It would be sad. This is my note. It would be sad if it weren't so annoying. Thomas not being at the wedding becomes a massive bone of contention within the family. Also, apparently after the wedding, Meghan called him to try and repair the relationship, but Thomas just asked for a photo shoot with Meghan. Again, sad, if not so annoying. Samantha, Meghan's half-sister, is pissed off because Thomas didn't get a coat of arms. And you're meant to get a coat of arms if you're the dad of Meghan. And it's like, okay, but you staged paparazzi pictures literally like 2 weeks ago and you keep leaking to the press. And Meghan is embarrassed.
You're not coming across as super trustworthy.
Or like royal. Like you don't have a royal vibe. And like everything they believe about Americans, everything the royal family believe about Americans, Thomas Markle, as a man who has won the lottery, lost it all, staged paparazzi pictures, reading about Britain in a picture book.
Well, no, he's not reading, he's looking at pictures.
Is it like, it's their worst nightmare of Americans.
Yeah, they say you're not a part of it.
Yes. In 2018, he goes on Good Morning Britain and he leaks all these weird details about chatting to Harry, even though they've never met. But then the next month, he does an exclusive interview with The Sun. I have another note here saying, is it exclusive, though, if you're doing interviews with everyone? Being like, why won't Meghan talk to me? It's so weird. And it's like, sir, stop leaking. He also says no one cares about his heart attack.
Oh, but the thing is, did you have a heart attack?
Yeah, that's what's confusing.
Okay.
At the same time, he's telling his family, so he's leaking, he's The Sun, he's there, he's Good Morning. Whoever calls him, he gets on the phone.
Let me check my calendar. I'm available at all times.
At all times. While he's doing that, publicly, he keeps saying to his family, back off Meghan. So every time anyone else in his family leaks, he's like, leave my daughter alone. He starts bitching about her fashion choices at the same time because she looks like someone out of the 1930s, according to him.
Okay, that's the royal element, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, he provides private childhood photos.
Love it.
Also, Harry, please call me. Also, he described Meghan as cold and threatened to unleash on the royal family over what became a 9-hour interview with the Daily Mail. And sir, have you not already unleashed? What is left to say? Then there's Sam, Samantha Markle. Of course, legally changed her name for media purposes. It was confusing.
To make it clearer.
One of the things I'm so upset about with Samantha Markle, who's obviously she's quite clever in that she changed her name. But then she's like, as soon as Meghan gets famous, I'm going to write a book. And the title of this book is going to be called The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister. Now, why do I have a problem with this title? From a marketing point of view, what's wrong with that title?
It's hard to know where to start.
Okay.
One, too many words.
Yes.
Needs to be Princess Pushy. We get that she's your sister.
Yeah.
That can come in maybe the line underneath the title.
Yes.
2, I don't think it's a diary because it's written by you about your sister.
In retrospect.
Who I would think is the pushy one. Unless you're referring to yourself as the pushy sister, which is
she
interesting.
isn't. Claire, if you are writing a book about Meghan Markle, would you or would you not put Meghan Markle in the fucking title?
I know, because people would be like, oh, someone's written a book about their pushy sister. Random.
And then keep walking.
Yeah.
No. The Diary of My Princess Pushy, Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex.
Yes.
Like, put that in for, search engine
Literally,
optimization purposes.
I am Meghan Markle's sister. Here's some
book.
gossip. Full stop.
That's it. Also, there's a part 1 which is published. There's also a part 2 coming.
Oh, no.
A few months later, she says Meghan is lovely and she doesn't know what everyone is talking about.
Okay, you wrote a book calling her pushy.
She keeps talking about her book and how much gosh she's going to share while demanding an invite to Meghan's wedding. She then loses her shit in April 2018 when it becomes clear she's not invited and was like, how can you call yourselves humanitarians when I, Samantha Grant, now Samantha Markle, am not invited to your wedding?
Great point.
She then changed her Twitter picture to the two of them as kids. And then she tweeted telling Harry to man up and invite her to the wedding. In the same year, there's a show called Meet the Markles.
So I've been sent out to the States to try and track down as many of Meghan Markle's family members as possible. And because I'm a Meghan fan myself, I've decided to try and become BFFs with them so I can be their +1 at the wedding.
Where Samantha is like, my husband is obsessed with the tabloids, it's so embarrassing. Also, this is around the time Piers Morgan calls her a vulture for profiting off Meghan.
It's weird
Pot
because
kettle black.
You'd think an enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes, but it's not.
He's like, no, only I may call out
And
Meghan
I'm
Markle.
public enemy number 1. And then it's like he's got Thomas Markle Sr., Samantha Markle, Thomas Markle Jr., and et cetera. And he's like, I feel like I'm falling down the list.
Yeah, I need to be the person she's worried about the most.
Every time Samantha tweets, she tags the Sun.
Okay.
She calls Meghan the Duchess of Nothing. And at one point she calls her a Duchess.
Oh.
And she calls Harry a wuss.
Okay.
She finds another woman on the internet she thinks Harry should have married and shares a picture.
Oh my gosh.
She calls Meghan Cruella de Vil and continuously posts mean articles about Meghan, retweets them.
The funny thing is I get it because from the perspective of being a sister, sometimes you say, you suck, nobody likes you, no one's interested in you. Oi, why don't you invite me?
Yes, I was going to say the next thing was she said, happy birthday, Meghan. Thomas Markle Jr. just said more of the same. I just don't know how else to.
I can't believe he got a stint on Australian TV.
I think he got paid really well too. He's a weird guy though. Okay. I want to move on now to the fight between Kate and Meghan. Now, we really need to talk about the fight in the lead up to the wedding because that was the biggest thing. What do you see in this image? Because this is really what brought down the royal family.
I'm going to start from the left. I see Princess Charlotte. She is wearing a flower crown, looks slightly uncomfortable on her head.
Yeah.
She's wearing a little dress and she's smirking. She is holding the hand of her mother, Kate Middleton, who doesn't look impressed. She looks exasperated.
Exasperated by Charlotte.
By this whole situation.
At this point, I would like to ask your theory regarding Princess Charlotte.
I've always had a theory about Princess Charlotte.
Go on.
She's a troublemaker.
Why do you think that? Isn't she 4?
Well, when I developed my theory, she was 3.
Okay.
And this is what I think. It all started with a story in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
It's September 2018. She's 3 years old. Princess Charlotte was attending the wedding of royal family friend Sophie Carter, who was marrying Robert Snuggs. I've never known a 3-year-old to attend so many weddings.
I know.
I just feel like she said, this is lame.
Okay.
And she said, Oprah was at my Auntie Meghan's wedding, so yours probably won't be that great.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlotte, please, we need to respect everyone's weddings equally. After the ceremony, Charlotte's mother, Kate Middleton, was pictured extensively holding a blue bag. The photos were published in Marie Claire that confirmed that it was satin and it was more of a clutch.
Okay.
It was big enough to hold a phone, some makeup, maybe some money.
Okay.
But when the official photos were taken of the wedding guests, the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, was no longer holding her bag. Where did it go, you may ask? 3-year-old Charlotte stole it.
Oh.
Intentionally.
Is this a fact?
She was holding it in the official photos.
Oh.
She was clutching onto it with the look of someone who knew exactly what she had done.
Okay.
Which was, she definitely said, this is mine now, Mama. Can you move out of the way? Your dress is clashing with my flower crown.
Okay.
Charlotte, please.
Okay.
Well, rumour had it that Kensington Palace didn't know what to do with her sass.
Really?
And look, my theory was that they wanted to put her in a tiny toddler prison.
Yes.
But the Queen said that's going to draw more attention to her bad behaviour. And there was a bit of a thing that she's got Prince Harry's cheekiness.
Cheekiness, yes.
And he is cheeky. And just before, like a few weeks before Princess Charlotte stole the bag, there were pictures of Prince Harry stealing samosas at an event. Jessie, what do you see here?
What's he got in his hand?
Well, that's the first photo. This is the second photo.
Okay. Oh, it's exactly like Princess Charlotte. Yes, he's being cheeky. He's stealing things
He's being
at
caught
events because he
red-handed.
finds royal events very boring.
And
Okay,
he's-
so we have criminals.
We have criminals
Speaking of people we cancel along the way, little Charlotte.
in the family. And look, I just think that the behaviour of a 3-year-old who somehow thinks it's acceptable to joke around and play with her mother's handbag needs to be taken seriously.
Okay, well, apparently Charlotte is at the centre of this feud. What happens?
Unsurprising.
Unsurprising. Apparently the bridesmaid, they call it bridesmaid. I'm like, okay, she was a flower girl.
Yeah.
The flower girl dress didn't fit Charlotte. And then there was a rumour about tights and how Kate wanted her to wear tights, but Meghan, being a slut, was like, no tights at my wedding. Meghan was termed, and I quote, a volatile dictator in the lead up to her wedding, much like Putin, but worse.
Yeah.
Years later in the Oprah tell-all, Meghan would say, so the story was Kate said, Meghan made me cry over the fighting of Charlotte's dress. and how it didn't fit. But years later, Meghan would say, actually, Kate made me cry. And I cried on my wedding day, and she even bought me flowers to apologise.
Yeah.
We will get to the Oprah tell-all in part 2.
Mm-hmm.
But their feud was intensifying. Claire, we wrote so many articles about this. Basically, Meghan and Kate are always fighting. They went to Wimbledon together, and what we did was took all the photos of them next to each other and we gave them speech bubbles. For example, Kate is saying, I hate sitting next to you. And Meghan is saying, no one cares what you have to say.
Yeah.
And then in another one, Kate says, I may have 3 children and a packed schedule, but I have lots of time for feuding, which really sums it up. It was also alleged that the fight between Kate and Meghan was what was causing the rift between Harry and William.
Of course.
Somewhere around this point, the world turned on Meghan. And in fact, it was around the point as well that they moved out of Kensington Palace into Frogmore Cottage.
Mm.
And the thing was, Meghan's 36, 37, right? And she's just married a guy. And he's like, come move in with my family. And she's like, I'm an adult. Like, I don't want to live with grandma. And
Grandma's lovely.
Grandma's lovely, but I don't want to live there.
And she keeps saying that my nail polish
is
slutty.
vulgar. Yeah. So everyone's turning on Meghan. Everyone has a story. And in fact, we did a story, an investigation, an explosive expose on the website about who the leak was. Claire, you did this feature. Who was the leak? Who was the mole inside the royal family?
All right. So I, did a very extensive investigation because at this point, a journo for The Sun had said that his impeccable royal source told him, 1, the Queen had to speak to Prince Harry about Meghan's behaviour before their wedding, saying Meghan cannot have whatever she wants.
She wanted a tiara but apparently had ties to Russia.
And 2, Meghan can be difficult and spoke to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's staff rudely.
And I love how the defence of Meghan was like, she's not difficult, she's just American.
Which is, honestly, we've all misinterpreted it before. We go, that person's rude. Oh, no, they're from America. So the question was, who be doing the leaking? And apparently there was a mole hunt.
A mole hunt. Did they look into Charlotte?
Well.
Could she speak? She could speak.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. She could babble.
She's babbling to the press.
I did an investigation.
She's got mummy's phone in the clutch.
Yeah. Jess, who do you see
That's
there?
Prince George looking smug.
Yeah. So he was 5. And he was obviously the son of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, which makes him suspiciously close to the drama.
Yeah.
He was also going to school.
Oh,
and I just think he was going to school, and he said at lunchtime, Mummy cried before Auntie Meghan's wedding. And sometimes Auntie Meghan gets angry at our staff. Boom. But you got to say, little George, family drama is private. We don't tell our little friends that. But he is 3rd in line to the throne. And I originally thought maybe he was actually leaking straight to Daily Mail reporters in order to get pocket money for after-school snacks.
Yeah.
But then I thought, he has plenty of pocket money.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason.
So the world has turned on Meghan. She's no longer the 11-year-old who cared about gender equality. She was single-handedly responsible for the drought. Allow me to explain. In January 2019, a photo is uploaded by one of Markle's friends of her eating avocado on toast with a side of black tea, as though it was no big deal.
Yeah.
But it was a big deal.
Oh.
In fact, it was a shocking revelation. The Daily Mail ran with the headline, "Is Meghan's favourite snack fueling drought and murder?"
Oh.
And the answer was yes, it certainly is. Another publication called Express added that the Duchess was wolfing down a fruit. I always feel weird when people refer to avocado as a fruit.
Same as tomato.
Wolfing down a fruit linked to water shortages, illegal deforestation, and all-round general environmental devastation. And avocado consumption is also associated with, and I quote, drugs. We're going to adjourn for recess. I always imagine when they say recess that you will get like primary school recess food, such as Jats and Vegemite.
Assorted biscuits.
Assorted biscuits. We're going to have some assorted biscuits and then we're going to come back for part 2 to really discuss what's going on once she leaves the royal family. And then things kind of get worse. If you decide you want to hear part 2 of our Meghan Markle episode early, subscribe to Mamamia. There's a link in our show notes. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Cancelled.
You can also follow us at The Twins Thoughts on Instagram. We'll be posting all the pictures, guilty Princess Charlotte, etc. And you can also leave us a review in Apple if you like the show.
Great. The producer of Cancelled is Rose Kerr. Head of podcast is Eliza Ratliff. And we will be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast was made by Mamamia, the only women's media company in Australia. If you want to support women's media, we'd love it if you became a Mamamia subscriber. There's a link in the show notes.